guys, it's Tiara. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment below. Just kidding. So the sole purpose of this video is to basically give detail about the two Tower of London prisoners that I chose to do research on. The first prisoner will be Anne Boleyn. Now, Anne Boleyn lived in France mostly during her childhood, but later reappeared in England. When she reappeared in England, she manifested a tendency at Henry VIII's courtyard. While being in his courtyard, she was admired by many of men due to her beauty. Out of jealousy, Henry VIII, who was already married and had plenty of mistresses, ordered against anyone to speak to Anne Boleyn in any romantic way. Being that Henry VIII wanted Anne Boleyn for himself, he masterminded a way to get out of his marriage with Queen Catherine. He had two reasons in order to leave his marriage. One being that Queen Catherine could not bear a son, and secondly, for the fact that Queen Catherine was previously married to his brother. Now, Henry VIII quoted from the book of Leviticus stating that any man who takes his brother's wife will remain childless. Being so that Henry VIII finally broke from his marriage, he tried to pursue Anne Boleyn, but she continuously rejected him. After a while, Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII were married, and they also had a child, which was not a son. It happened to be Elizabeth I. Henry VIII was very upset once again for marrying a woman who could not bear a son in order to be an heir to his throne. Now, due to Henry VIII being upset and out of rage of not having a son, he sentenced Anne Boleyn to the Tower of London in order for her to be beheaded due to three charges that were brought up against her, being incest, conspiracy, as well as adultery. Now, as we get into my next prisoner, her name will be Miss Lady Jane Grey. Miss Jane Grey was actually 17 years old at the time. She was the niece of Henry VIII. Henry VIII, being her great uncle, put her in his will in order to be an heir to the throne only if his three children, Elizabeth, Mary, and Edward, died of natural causes only. Being that Edward was the first child to die due to him being very sick and ill, Edward put in his will that he wished for Lady Jane Grey to take his heir to the throne over his sister, Mary. Now, as any other sister would be upset, Mary was very upset that she could not claim the throne to be the Queen of England. As we move along, Lady Jane Grey, alongside of her husband, reigned for only 9 days. During those 9 days, Mary, alongside of the people of England who supported her, came and overthrew Lady Jane Grey and her husband from the throne. Being that Lady Jane Grey was overthrown, Mary charged her with the charge of treason, being that Lady Jane Grey stole the throne from Mary. So with that being said, Lady Jane Grey was then beheaded for her actions. Now, with both of these stories being very so compelling, I feel as though neither one of these innocent women deserved to be beheaded and or executed. A lot of the charges that were brought against them were brought upon lies and just pure hatred, and there was very little evidence that any one of the parties did anything on purpose and or with intent. So I feel as though the people of England were very quick to decide things, very quick with trials. Just overall, their process of things were too fast with very little knowledge of evidence.